Welcome back, and joining us on the show now is Vandana Hari. She is founder and CEO at Vanda Insights. Vandana, hi, good to have you. And what a big choppy moves that we've seen in crude oil prices since the beginning of 2025. The latest cues clearly coming in from US and China tariffs, one, and the other is the way we've seen the US inventories gain quite strongly by 8 million barrels a day in the previous week. How are you reading both these cues?
Good afternoon, Manisha. So indeed, quite a turbulent start to 2025. And something tells me that this is not an aberration, but probably par for the course. If you look at all the news headlines that have left market participants spinning, coming mainly out of the US, we have simultaneously big news on big moves from the Trump administration on tariffs, on sanctions. At the same time, indications on what he may or may not be doing with regards to the two major wars ongoing, in Gaza and Ukraine. So basically, the market has been bombarded with a lot of signals. Unfortunately, a lot of noise as well, which we've seen from, something gets, like, for instance, the tariffs in Canada and Mexico got reversed within 48 hours of being announced. So the market, this has become now a big challenge for the corporate world, for political leaders around the world, on basically how to read Trump, how to assess what he's saying and what he's doing, and let alone what to expect in terms of what he'll do next. So no wonder you're seeing crude oil prices being whiplashed, a fair deal. It's hard to say. There might be a little bit more downside now. They have calmed down quite a bit compared with the 14-month highs that we saw in Jan. But, it might be only until the next bombshell gets dropped on the market.
Okay. Vandana, also, how are you reading on to the sanctions on Russia? And in the meanwhile, India and China, the more important Asian countries, now going towards Saudi Arabia, which also has increased its prices for the month of March for its Asian consumers.
Yeah, so the sanctions on Russia, and that's really interesting because we saw Brent jump past $82 in the days following the announcement of the sanctions on the 10th of Jan. But that has that sort of premium, the fear in the market with regard to potential disruption to Russian supply has cooled down quite a bit. Quite interestingly, we see as overall crude prices have come down, the Ural's benchmark grade of Russia has also come very close to $60 a barrel, which is, where the cap that the West has set for Russia to sell its crude, which makes it slightly easier as well for Russia to find ships and insurance providers outside the shadow fleet and outside the sanctioned areas. So it's becoming easier. So the disruption in Russian crude supply has not been as bad as had been expected by the market. So, but again, it remains to be seen how Trump proceeds. There is news now that there are back-channel negotiations already happening between the U.S. officials and Russian officials. So let's see what turn this takes in terms of the Ukraine war being resolved.
Okay.
All right, Vandana, thank you so much for sparing time and joining us today. Manisha, thank you for joining in as well. By the way, numbers of